Hey everyone, welcome to the Generation Gamers podcast. We're happy to have you guys in with us this afternoon. My name is Mike Mullis. I am Stinger NLG, and I'm here with my two great co-hosts.
Mason, aka Sinar212, along with.
And Heather Siren 717.
How you guys doing this week?
Pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice day today where we're at, so we're pretty excited to be doing our third podcast along with Siren today.
Yeah, welcome in, Siren.
Thank you, Sarah.
So yeah, the snow's just about melted where we are, and except for a polar vortex, which is supposed to come sometime in the week, I'm hoping the snow is all gone.
Oh, man, I'm
So
thinking, seriously, I just want summer to get here. I just want E3 out of all things.
E3 is going to be fantastic all the way around. There's so much that's going to be going on. Every right now, all the companies are tweeting, what their beginning of their plans are. Sony is looking at some big game announcements. Microsoft is looking at some big game announcements.
I saw
Nintendo,
I saw Phil Spencer. He tweeted that he's hoping to have some good moments like when they now launched Killer Instinct and stuff like that. You know, when people freaked out. And he said they're, like you said, they're tweeting and they're getting things ready.
So Heather, give us a little bit of your gaming backgrounds. You're joining us for the first time.
Oh gosh, let's see. I started off with the NES, of course, like most people my age. Mario, Zelda, all the good ones. I had a few of the consoles jumping in and out. My next main one was probably my PlayStation, and that's where I really was like hook, line, and sinker into games. Tekken, Bushido Blade, Jurassic Park. That was my jam. All those guys. I played those for hours on end, and then I really got into. I was actually probably previous. I was a big Sony fan.
Ooh.
Hardcore. So when we first met.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we tangoed. And then I saw the light and got myself an Xbox 360. So.
Excellent. And the game that you are most looking forward to?
Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
Hey, don't judge me.
You are actually going to pay the monthly cost.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
I'm gonna do it.
Bethesda thanks you.
Hashtag.
So, and we're hoping that you'll come on when we get closer to the release of that. There's a beta that should be going on now. Hopefully, they're going to extend that beta to consoles. And when they do, if you get into that beta, we'd love to have you tell us all about it.
It's a whole thing to get into that beta. I mean, I know one person who did, and it was like hoops and fire. So I don't know if I have that much energy, but I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Okay, so let's get down to it. So for the second week in a row, we get to talk some Titanfall. And so during the week, Respawn folks announced that 2 million unique beta testers were in on this beta, and they were able to catch about 10 major bugs that they don't have to worry about at launch.
Wow.
So they're really happy with that. And Mason, you and I spent a couple days on it. We got our buddies into it.
Yep, yeah, we did.
My friends were in on playing on it, and I gotta tell you, it ignited it reignited my passion for an FPS because as I was yelling as I was getting my butt kicked, I suck at these. But I kept wanting to play because once I started to get a hang of jumping off walls, hanging off walls, jumping into a Titan, and the Titans seem to even out the mix. Like no matter how much you suck at a first-person shooter as far as running around and being accurate and things like that, and you jump into a Titan and you even the odds.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Well, the thing I have been reading, a lot of articles have been saying is where having that AI component in the game, and they weren't necessarily saying, people who don't play first-person shooters, they don't have to be intimidated to play this game because everybody has fun. Everything you do counts towards winning the match or even the game itself. I mean, I know Siren 7 is more of an RPG player, and when she played with us that one night, she was actually killing some pilots, but also getting a lot of those AI kills. And you don't, like I said, there's no intimidation there because you know what you're going to be doing something. It's not like where if you play Call of Duty or even say Battlefield, more than likely you're not going to get any kills because it's just more Whoever's good at that game is going to destroy the whole match. If you're not good at first-person shooters, you're going to suck the whole time unless you keep on playing. With this one, it's like the next level of Call of Duty. You can get into it and play it right away, but then you're also kicking a lot of ass right off the bat. And the thing is, you get points for killing AI, you get more points for killing, the human players, the pilots. Now, with this one, yeah, you get more points with the pilots, but, like, if you, or even Siren, or, like, even GT Marauder, the more you play, and you're still getting those points and kills, then the better you'll get. But it's the same experience every time. You're getting kills no matter what. You're not feeling left out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Siren, you got in with us. I guess it was the night before the beta ended, and what was your take on what you were playing? I mean, he says you're more of an RPG player. I mean, have you played a lot of first-person shooters beforehand, or?
I've dabbled in Call of Duty, Battlefield a few times. It was easier for me to play Call of Duty. It's more friendly. Battlefield was a little more extreme. I got a little more frustrated, but Titanfall just seems so natural. And let me tell you, when you get your first Titan, it is like the best thing ever. You're like, oh my god! You get all high pitched and squeaky, like, I got my Titan! Someone screamed out, I've had my first beer, but I'm really excited, overly joyed. But it was super easy, killing people, and I mean, no one's crouching around, there's no campers really, you're flying through the game, it's super fast paced, which I like. I am a person who has a short attention span, so if everyone's just kind of hanging out, I'm be like, screw this. So I loved it. It was great.
Pulling a Leroy Jenkins.
Oh yeah, that's comfortably.
Well, and it really was. We were playing as a team. When you play Call of Duty and to an extent Battlefield, because you've got so many people playing at the same time, you got 64 people on the map at once. Everybody's just doing their own thing, and even when you're playing capture the flag and things like that, nobody's really paying attention. I was in the World of Tanks beta as well, and of course I moved over into playing World of Tanks on the 360, and even there, it seems like it's every tank for himself. You get your kills, and that's it. With Titanfall, we were playing as a team. It was those times over the weekend when Mason and I and GT Marauder and those guys were, we were taking our Titans, and we weren't just going and killing things. There were a couple points in the game where I was getting lit up. GT comes around a corner and starts hitting the guy that's pounding on me and gives me a chance to turn around and help him out. And together we take this Titan out. There's this team element that is missing sometimes out of the bigger games.
Well, it's especially like when they said doing that calibration. It kind of reminds me of like the old Halo days. I mean, to me, I still find, for me, Halo is my hard first-person shooter. But using a lot of teamwork in that, and now with teamwork in this, I remember me, even you, Siren, and GT, even B to the Langer, Chris. We were calling in. We weren't really calling in our Titans right off the bat. It would be like, all right, got my Titan, I'm holding it until you guys get yours. And all of us, or even three of us, would call in our Titan, and it'd be like, all right, let's go mess some stuff up. And that's what's awesome. And that's where it goes back to where when people are complaining about 6v6, that is the stupidest thing ever, because, okay, yeah, there might be 6 pilots and then 6 other pilots, but it's the AI. There is so much going on in this map. I honestly think, I couldn't even count how many objects were on the map at once. I mean, including us, the 6v6, and then the AI. Man, those drop pods were dropping everywhere, and 8 or 9 guys were coming out of those things. And it's like, it was chaotic. But at the same time, no, it's organized, like we said in the last podcast. It's organized. It's not, every man for themselves. Everybody's helping everyone else. I remember, I think it was GT. GT was running, and I was trying. I had the sniper, and somebody was running behind him, and I'm like, GT, watch out! And I couldn't get him in my sights, and all of a sudden, I think it might have been Zombie, or maybe B to the Langer. He came out of nowhere, and I saw him just cold cock this guy, and he snapped his neck. It was just to see that from my angle was probably the coolest thing ever.
Oh, no doubt. And what we didn't get a chance to talk about last week in the podcast, because we were in the middle of playing the beta, is, this is going to launch with about 15 maps. And now we played attrition, and we played the capture the flag. Off the top of my head, I'm blanking on what the name of that game was. And then there was Last Titan Standing. Out of the three, because I'm not the greatest um, run and gunner, and I'm not, you know, I can protect better than I can attack. The uh, the capture the flag was more my speed than
Yeah.
attrition.
That's how
But
I'm more of a defense kind of guy.
yeah, I'm not a big offensive guy. But that gave me the ability to really be part of the team, and that made a lot. So we've got 15 maps that are coming out. There's
That's
going to
actually
be
that's three more than we thought. We originally thought there was only going to be 12, and then it
yep,
said there was 15. And I think I think you're probably about to say the weapons. I think there's like 30 or 33 different weapons.
and there are 22 different perks. The burn, the perks, the burn cards, the things like that. It is capture the flag. So the other game modes are going to be there is capture the flag. What we were playing was hard point. That's the game mode we were playing,
Oh,
where
it's
you
kind of
capture and hold the
like
hard
yeah,
point.
kind of like land
That
grab
was
in a way.
fun. Yeah.
But there will be a straight out capture the flag. There will be and another mode called Pilot Hunter, which is just killing off enemy pilots.
Oh, okay.
And it may well be. It's almost sounds like it's
Oh, okay.
and so or maybe even a straight up death match rather than attrition, which is the team death match. There's going to be a bunch of different weapons, as you said, and look, this is a chance for a lot of people to jump into a game that they gave up on, as far as the genre goes, like me, who gave up on the first-person shooters.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, definitely, this is what breathe life into the first-person shooter genre. I mean, I know different games tried it, maybe Killzone, Halo. I think Halo will always have that significant type of first-person shooter. But the biggest thing, like I said, reading those articles that were praising it for its leniency on non-experienced players is the big thing because it's fun. It's definitely. I mean, I played with people. I can remember when, no offense, GT, but sometimes GT would either be on the lower list or even even me at times, and it's like, man, like I really suck. But not now because there's that AI in those maps, and it gives you that drive to play more. You don't want to just stop like, well, I got one kill and everyone else has 15 or more. Now it's, oh man, I got 6 or I got 10. That's okay. I'm gonna keep on playing, and it's that reward that really makes the game good.
Yeah, 'cause
I
you kill
agree.
like 80 of them and get like maybe 5 pilots, and at least you got like 80 count. It makes you it's a boost of confidence
Yep,
for some of us who aren't that great at them.
exactly correct. Yep.
Until you look at the stats afterwards.
Right?
I only got 2 pilot kills.
Mason's got like 216 pilot kills. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, we know who the tank of the group is.
I'm suicide. I go in. I don't even care. There's times I'll get my Titan and it's still brand new, and I will go in between 2 Titans and suicide eject. I don't care. I'm like, take it with me.
Yeah, he'll be like, jump on. I'm like, no way. I'm going my own way. Thank you very much.
I'm excited, especially with the advent of the new multiplayer update coming out for the Xbox One and the game. So we got, what, 2 weeks? I think 2 weeks, maybe 3 until the game comes out. And
March 11th.
March 11th,
Yeah.
and it's definitely going to be awesome. Definitely going to be awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, as am I. So, I want to switch gears, and there's a pretty good milestone for video gaming in general. PlayStation 4 has now launched in Japan,
Yep.
and it's the first of the next-gen consoles, because I guess if you want to call the Wii U a next-gen console, it's the second of the next-gen consoles to hit. Sorry, Nintendo fans. Go
Oh.
ahead and pound the comments. It's okay. And look, this was a well-oiled launch for them. This was a very highly anticipated launch for them. They've already announced that they've sold 5.4 million consoles worldwide before the launch.
Mhm.
So, can they hit 6 million consoles by summer?
Honestly, in my opinion, I think they will because all the markets they're in. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad console too. Like I said, I have one. It's not a bad console, and we'd said in the first podcast from even before the Japan launch, just 32 markets compared to the Xbox One, which is right now just 13. I mean, that is triple. I mean, that's double than what the Xbox launching. So, and the price too. A lot of people look at the price, but I think there's if you get more dwelled into it, there might be more. But I know with the launch of the PS4 in Japan, I think they had the same launch lineup as Europe and America, but they might have had like maybe 2 or 3 more games that were morely aimed for Japan, but that was about it. I was really expecting a lot of big JRPGs. I think there was like one. It was kind of goofy name, but there was one JRPG that launched with them. I know that game Drive Club that got delayed. That was supposed to launch in Japan too, but then that got delayed. So, but I definitely think if they do hit they might because they have twice triple amount as more markets than the Xbox One or any other or Nintendo for that matter. And for one, the price point. So that's what I think. What do you think about Siren?
I just thought there'd be a lot more bang coming out for Japan. Like they postponed it, everyone's waiting for it. There's some hype around it. And I just didn't really see why.
I think the biggest thing is since there's no competition in Japan, if Nintendo Wii U's not even selling in there,
They're very portable heavy.
yes, they are very.
Yeah.
And
And
even
look,
with the
the
Xbox
true,
with the Xbox One launch, and I think they're launching in this fall in Japan.
yeah,
My opinion,
that
I've said this from the beginning. This has not. There's no racial slurs here or anything, but Japan will never buy a Western. We're Western, right? Yeah, no Eastern.
Western.
Why they won't buy a Western-made console. Listen, the Xbox One, when the original Xbox came out, sold very poorly there, which were good reason. 360, they turned it around. They had probably the most RPGs on there. They had exclusive RPGs. They made it smaller, which was their biggest gripe. They had a lot more games on there, which was their biggest gripe with the original. All the Mistwalker, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. They even had the exclusive for Star Ocean. All those games, and Japan still did not bite. And it's just the way that is. They will, no matter what, they will not support the Xbox. That's just the way it is. That's just how that country is. Even though they are more mobile heavy, but I've said it from the beginning, and I'm glad Microsoft isn't really putting too much into giving all the consoles. And, release it last there, which they're doing fall of 2014, so they still got almost a whole year before they even get the Xbox One. But I mean, it has nothing to do with Microsoft. They did everything that Japan wanted for the 360. Man, there's so many RPGs, man,
Yeah.
so many. The Last Remnant, all those exclusive that were good in America. Even America liked them. Europe liked them. Japan was like, yeah, okay. I think the only game that really saw an overnight line was Blue Dragon, and then it was I think
and Idolmaster did well
yep,
there.
yep. I think then after that, like it just it was popular, and then that was it. It's just the way that's just the way the dice roll. Japan will never, ever accept the Xbox there.
And I think Microsoft knows that. That's if they really wanted to compete there, they would have launched around the same time, or they would have launched before. And that's something that I said in our first podcast too, is that Microsoft knows where their market is.
Yep.
And look, Sony hitting 6 million consoles, they could hit 10 million by the end of the year, and I think that's a good thing. I think that the industry needs to have Sony and Microsoft selling as many consoles as they can to get us out of the last generation. I still am firmly in belief that it doesn't matter what the gap is between them, they're still going to get the same support.
Yep.
But it shows that the video game industry itself, which has been called, on death's door at the end of this generation, is still pretty strong. And Sony put together a product that appeals to the core gamer, and they're responding. And you have to respect that,
I do
no
respect it in a
matter how
way.
you feel.
I do respect it in a way, but at the same time, no. Where are the games? They say we're for the gamers. I mean, we know at least 10 titles that are coming out exclusively for the Xbox One in the first 12 months. The PS4, we know Drive Club's delayed. We don't know when that's coming out. Infamous comes out the same week or second week with the Titanfall, which is that's not honestly that's not. I mean, and honestly, watch Infamous sell a lot because unfortunately there's no games on the system on PS4 right now. Then they got The Order. We know it's coming out this year, but we don't have a release date. After The Order, That's it. I'm talking about game. I'm not talking about indie games either. So if anyone in the comments just say, well, they got this, and that. I'm not talking about indie games. I'm talking about like like nice big games that people are going to want to play.
I don't think really Sony either really fights for their game titles. Look at all the exclusive Microsoft has opposed to Sony. I mean, they go to town, they fight, they got Titanfall, they held the reins. I mean, even DLCs on last gen like the PS3, say Skyrim, they didn't get any of those DLCs. They don't fight for what their gamers need. They claim that they're for the gamers, but where's the fight behind what they say?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, she's got
Well,
a.
I think what they rest on is look, they have they have some big bat first party studios, and I don't think anybody can deny uh, the power of Naughty Dog, the power of their Santa Monica studio. I mean, Uncharted is coming. Now,
Mhm.
Naughty Dog, for what it's worth, said that The Last of Us 2 is like a 50-50. That Sony's given them the choice to make, and they can decide. And they don't even know if they want to continue The Last of Us, and do they want to go into a different direction? Obviously, Uncharted 4 is coming, but beyond that, but you know,
But I mean, could we?
um,
But could we? Is that the same way of people saying, "Well, another Halo or another Gears"? I mean, yeah, okay, another Charted. Last of Us was good, so it's another. I'm talking about like new IPs. You got Sunset Overdrive. We still, I mean, Sunset Overdrive, dude.
Mm.
Quantum Break is going to be awesome.
absolutely.
And then, like I said, these are games that we know we're getting in the first 12 months, and then coming in E3 in a couple months. Who knows what? Listen, they spent 1 billion for the first year. Who knows what they're going to be bringing for the second year? Like I said, for the PS platform, you're right. They have some big first party titles, but then and now it's a waiting game. Like I said, we know Uncharted 4 is coming. When? The Order, we know that's coming. When? Drive Club, when? Last Guardian, what? 10 years from now? I'm excited for that. That is probably will probably be the only game I'll buy for their PS4. The last thing we heard about The Last Guardian was that it was being re-engineered, which everyone's took to as well. They're probably remaking it. They're making it for the PS4. So I mean, like I said, I have an Xbox One and PS4. If I just had a PS4 and I would be looking in the future, I'd be like, well, okay, I got Infamous, and that's what you know what I'm saying. And that is fact. I know these, and then like I said, Sony has a lot of games and probably in development. I'm not saying they do, but get it out there. Say what they're bringing. At least with the Xbox One, we know the slew for the first year of all the games that are coming out. At least we know these games that we will be playing. And if I solely just had a PS4 and they say they're for the gamers, it's like, where are your games? And like Heather said, they don't. Where's that fight? Man, I guarantee you, if they trust me, Sony's got deep pockets just like Microsoft. They could have got a lot of exclusives, but I mean, I don't know. I know they got things separated too. They got the Vita. They still got stuff from PS3 coming out. I mean,
Well, Sony as a company, Sony as an overall company, doesn't. Now, Sony Computer Entertainment might, but Sony. Speaking of which, they've had to sell buildings off in the
yes,
last
they
couple of
did.
years. They just sold off their entire their
Yep.
entire PC division.
Yeah, Bio.
So
Yep.
they don't. What I will Here's what I will say though, and because I'm trying to, even as an Xbox One owner, I can see the appeal, and I think where Sony took this fight this time was to the third parties. If you remember in the last generation, the third party games to the 360 were not only abundant, but they were always better. And now, at least now, and this is gonna segue into the next thing that I want to bring up. At least for the moment, the argument can be made that third-party games on the PlayStation 4 are technically engineered superior to the Xbox One in resolution, sometimes in frame rate, sometimes in that. So what Sony's done, and I honestly think if I step away from it as, taking away every reason that I bought a Xbox One for beyond resolution and things like that, if I'm solely looking at I want to have the best graphics. I don't want to put a PC together. I want the best graphics. You can't argue with what they did to build the PS4 to get as many games into that 1080p buzzword
I
as
mean,
they can. And that's you got to give them credit for that because
exactly.
that's
Right.
I mean, like I said, I do give them credit for it, but then it goes to that is only a small point. Would you rather have, okay, we'll say Metal Gear Solid. I mean, not Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain. Okay, that game looks and will looks well technically in the technical side will look and run better on the PS4, but that's a third party now for special features. Would you rather play a retro first mission from the original Metal Gear Solid on the PS4 version, or would you like to have that whole new mission with Raiden, which to me is a lot more appealing, which the Xbox One is getting? You know, do you want to play just an old? I mean, I've seen these in comments. I mean, me personally, I've seen it in comments on Kotaku and some other websites. It's like a lot of people are like, "Oh, thanks for the retro mission from Metal Gear Solid One," but then the Xbox One, you get that hack and slash, that crazy Raiden mission, which would be like, and the Xbox One still looks good. I think that's 720p with 30 frames, whereas or is it 60 frames on the Xbox One? Are they both 60 frames or are they both 30?
They are both 60 frames
Both are 60, but 1080p on the PS4,
and
720p
720p on the
on the
Xbox One.
Xbox One. Now, okay, it's like, all right, so now which version would, okay, so we know the PS4 version looks better, but what offers more? To me, having that whole action-packed mission with Raiden, I would rather have that than a retro style mission from Metal Gear Solid 1. But I don't know. Like I said, it depends, and that's me personally. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about it, Siren?
I don't know. I mean, why was there a difference? Was it just preference with the different players and different groups for PS4 as opposed to Xbox One? I mean, why are they two separate games?
I don't.
They're not.
No,
It's
no, for
it's
the same.
they're
Like two separate openings.
No, well, I don't know. Special
it's
features. Like
DLC.
it depends. I mean, it's like Soul Calibur 2 for that PS2 had Darth Vader. Xbox
We had
360
Yoda.
Had Yoda, and then Nintendo had Link. I don't know. That depends, I guess.
I
I
think that's just to throw something
But I think
to
that's
each.
where I think I was getting at with Sony fighting for it. Don't you think Sony would want that action-packed extra mission, and then instead of just a nostalgia remake of Mission One from
Right.
Metal Gear Solid One, you think to be like, you know what? Let's give them the rating, give them this crazy awesome mission with hacking this and that. Nah,
Well,
we'll just give them the the
I think that
style.
I think what they're banking on is that do you want it in 720p or do you want it in 1080p? And this is where this fight has gone. And look, developers have gotten sucked into this too because when I look at these games and I look at what Hideo Kojima said this week, all around, the internet has been going around it. He loves the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 3 holds a very special place in his heart, and it's hard for me not to believe that he didn't put all of his heart and soul into the PS4 versions of these games, and maybe not so much just to get the Xbox One version running, and didn't really work with the system at all and things like that. Some of that could go to what Rebellion Games said about the ESRAM being a pain in the butt to use, but now they're getting there, and maybe he, in his development cycle just hasn't gotten to it, but it does sort of make it sound like, his love is Sony, and therefore the best version of the game is going to be on the system he loves the most.
Best version graphically or what it offers
Yes. No, graphically.
graphically. Okay.
And because really, and if you look at the internet forums and what Sony's fan base is saying, that's what they are. That's what they keep coming back to. They don't keep coming back to whether or not these games are great. They're coming back to whether or not they have the greatest graphics. And I think what it boils down to, do you want this mission versus that mission? I think it is. Do you want Metal Gear Solid and Halo and Gears of War and Titanfall, or do you want Metal Gear Solid and Drive Club and Infamous and The Order and Uncharted? That's where it comes down to me. And if you look at it in that way, resolution doesn't play into that factor unless it just bothers you so much.
Yeah.
And,
And you're right. I mean, if I don't know, the whole resolution debate is, I don't know, in my opinion, I'm kind of getting tired of it. I know
I
who was
am too, and
the one who tweeted it'll die out. Was it
well, here's
somebody just said like
what I
it'll auto itself out. I was
it'll auto balance. So here's and you're right. I only want to touch on this briefly, and we can move on to something more important. But the reason that I wanted to bring it back up was because Thief comes out this week. Garden Warfare comes out this coming week. Both of those are confirmed 900p on the Xbox One, and Garden Warfare is going to be 900p at 60 frames per second. Now with Thief, it's 1080p 30 frames on the uh, on the PlayStation 4. So, to me, that tells me that the tools are starting to get better. Things are starting to improve, and now these games are reaching 900 where they might have been 720. Where the Thief developer says this isn't a big thing. And so far most of the developers outside of Kojima, who has spouted his love for Sony, have said this isn't a big deal. IGN just did a podcast yesterday that said the same thing. You almost can't even tell on
Oh
TV
wait, so
sets.
hold on. So now they're saying you can't even tell.
Well, I'm just saying.
Come on.
I think
They were
most
rocking that
developers
horse like crazy. Now they're all of a sudden they're saying,
I know.
now you can't really. And here's the thing, you can't really tell the difference unless you got them side by side next to each other. And here's the thing, and we just found out a lot of people didn't even know that we never truly had 720p or 1080p games last gen. They were always upscaled.
No, they were all upscaled.
Now we're getting our true 720p in all the way up, 800p, 900p, up to 1080p. I mean, look at it. I bet you half the people didn't read the things of Rise. A lot of people, that was 900p, and Rise, out of a lot of the articles said that is probably the best looking launch game of both these generations was Rise, and that was 900p.
And now we're getting more games that are hitting that rather than 720. And I think that's the point, is that the tools are going to get better. The SDKs are going to get better. There are plenty of games coming out in 1080 for both, Strider, Rayman.
We're only 3 months into the damn thing,
Exactly.
It's such a fight because that's the one thing Sony has on us. So that's why they're going hardcore with this, bringing it up all the time.
And honestly, that is, I guess, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, hey, it's in 1080p, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, so what are you playing? Yeah, thank you.
What else did you get for Christmas?
And again, that's what it comes down to me on is, if resolution was such a non-factor for me. I've said over and over the reason that I bought the Xbox One was because of the Kinect and the integration and being able to plug my DirecTV in and being able to come down and say Xbox on and allow the thing to turn on my whole system. And to do the fact that I'm sitting here on my couch doing this podcast over Skype with you guys, that's the kind of thing that I bought this for.
Yep.
If it didn't have the Kinect, I'd stay with the 360 because game resolution doesn't mean a hill of beans to me.
Yeah.
The game has to be good, and so
they are good. I mean, like you said, they're good. I mean, the games are there. We got the games, and honestly, I really don't see anybody even on on the Xbox fan base talking about resolution. We're just happy we got our games.
We actually get to play our consoles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get to play our.
Okay, well, we have to be nice. We have to be nice.
Yes, you're right.
We are not. Like I am
that I'll be able
far.
to...
I am far. I will never say we as as that. I mean, you guys can, but I'm not a console warrior. I can't. I'm not that guy that runs into every PS4 forum and says, "Ha, you have no games." Ha. I can't do it.
When we talk about the the fanboy shoe, it'll be like like you said, I'm a Xbox fanboy, but like when I spout it, it's usually I use a fact. I don't just say something I don't pull anything out of my butt. It's just like you said. I don't know. I think me and Siren's version of fanboys are when we became fanboys back in high school and middle school are a lot different than fanboys these days. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
And I'm a fanboy, but I won't go into a forum and just.
I don't think they're fanboys now. I just think they're trolls.
Trolls, yeah.
Well, I call them console. I call them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call them console warriors
Console warriors.
because they have to defend their console of choice instead of just enjoying the console they have. I enjoy my Xbox One. Do I begrudge anybody who doesn't want an Xbox One because the graphics on the PS4 are better? Absolutely not. If that's your cup of tea, then go for it. And I hope you have the same enjoyment. Those people with a Wii U. I hate to see what's happening
Oh,
with Nintendo and the Wii U. I truly do.
oh my
Because
God.
Nintendo, it's Nintendo. It's, we're not talking about a small little dinky indie developer company. We're talking about Nintendo, who actually took the video game industry from an utter crash. I mean, they saved the gaming industry single-handedly with the NES, and to see what's going on with them now is very sad. And I hope that everybody that owns a Wii U enjoys it. That that they get the same enjoyment out of it that we get out of our consoles, that PS4 players get out of their consoles, that PC players get out of building their rigs. Because I did that too. You know, I
It is sad
I
to see
just
what's happening to Nintendo. I said I had a Wii U, don't anymore. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick one up again with some. I highly doubt it, and it does suck. I really wish they.
I still have my NES, and I absolutely love that thing.
Yeah,
yeah
you're right.
those
It's Nintendo. It's
Yeah.
just God. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying they're gonna go under or anything because they got a lot of money. It's just,
they are sitting on
uh,
$11 billion of cash. They're
yeah.
not going anywhere.
I
They'll
don't know.
build another
Maybe
console before they go
they'll.
under.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Maybe who knows? Maybe they'll shoot out another console. But like I said,
Yeah.
we're I'm fanboys. But I won't be a savage or internet warrior and purposely go into an internet forum and. Well, if somebody comes to me like, yeah, man, no, if somebody now I've had people like, I've run into and like, yeah, I got an Xbox One. I'm like, oh, why'd you get one? Or like, if they say, oh, I got a PS4. I'm like, oh, I got an Xbox One. They're like, oh, no, man, why'd you get that? And then I'm like, well, fact one, fact two, fact three, fact four. And then I'll say, then no. Listen, here's the thing, too. A lot of people are ill-informed. I run into people that still think there's DRM on the Xbox
Our
One.
PR was so bad.
And that was Microsoft.
It was.
So
I'm a true
bad.
fanboy. When I'm holding out my own console or my own company,
Yeah, I was
mean,
very upset.
dude, Microsoft. Ugh.
If we had,
And they know it.
I wouldn't have
They
to play
know
a
it.
game. I just mooch off him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. That family plan, I mean, that's a different discussion, but that was true. That was what they said it was. But, anyways.
PR wasn't.
Oh.
Oh, that
All right, so I think we've dwelled on resolution long enough. I just wanted to bring it up because we've got some new games coming out that are not 720p. They're getting towards the higher end, and I think that's a good thing. I think that once you get to 900p to 1080p, you're not seeing a difference. These games are going to look great. Garden Warfare, actually, I got to make a decision on this between now and March because Titanfall is going to take all of my time. But man, Garden Warfare looks good.
I can see Heather,
You know?
Heather getting that one. Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare.
I don't know. I played it on my cell phone. I wasn't really.
It's not the same game. It's a third-person shooter on the Xbox One. It's
Yeah.
not a flash game.
I don't know.
A little different. A little different.
I don't know. Well, I'm. It's one of those things. So anyway, that's that. So
Yeah.
let's move on to something that's a little more relevant as far as big impact it can have on the gaming industry, and that is, I want to start with digital versus disc. Now, there's a
We did jump
couple
on that a little bit last podcast, remember? But I mean, just to get to the core, yeah, that'd be a good topic right now.
there's this desire for the industry to jump into a digital world, for them to, for companies to sell things digitally and not have discs and things like that. But we're at this crossroads right now where there's good and bad with this. So, I want to go over the good things first. Now, I am an all digital guy. I have been since close to the end of the Xbox 360 and PS3 days. I wasn't buying anything at GameStop or Best Buy or any of the stores. I was downloading them. And on the Xbox One at least, and I know to an extent the PlayStation 4 does the same thing if you have the camera attachment. I love being able to just sit back and say, Xbox, go to X, and it just does. And I don't have to get up and put a disc in. I don't have to do anything. My wife and I can be sitting here watching television. She goes up to bed. I reach for my controller, which is over on my table here. I say, go to Forza, and it's gone. It's in Forza. I'm playing without getting up. That is awesome to me. That's next gen to me.
It is. Some people say, well, what? So you don't want to get up and put a disc in, you're lazy. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. And you might say convenience or that. It's that, yeah, endless, that streamline, that barrier that got broke. That is a true next gen experience to go from our TV to Elder Scrolls Online or jump to Netflix or back to TV. I mean, it is seriously cool to do that stuff, and people need to experience it and know how much better it's going to get. I mean, just to say, Xbox, go to Battlefield 4 and stuff like that. And right now, and I tell her sometimes, this is how I talk Siren into going digital because she was going to go disc because she liked buying disc, and I told her, and I'm like,
I was just
listen,
worried about hard drive space.
and
That made me nervous.
hopefully, like I said, come this fall. Rumors are for that though, that external hard drive support might be coming supposedly, but I know Microsoft said they are going to support it. But anyways, with the whole disc versus digital right now, other than internet speed, where it's probably the biggest thing, there's really no big difference on storage wise with going disc to digital.
Right.
With digital, you have to download it and install it, and with disc, you have to mandatory install it. There you go, mandatory install. So if you run out of space, you got to delete. Let's say Battlefield 4, you got to delete Battlefield 4 from disc. Same thing digitally, but with the digital version, it stores itself on the cloud. So the only thing you have to do is install it. You don't have to re-download again. Whereas so if 5 months later you want to play Battlefield, guess what? You have to reinstall it again. Same thing with on a digital. So it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so then me and Simon were talking, like, what's the benefit of going digital then? It's like, then we were saying, that streamline, going from Battlefield, go to Killer Instinct, go to Peggle 2, go to Titanfall. That's where the benefit is.
I do.
And that's what I was doing. The night we were playing Titanfall, the three of us and those other guys, while we were waiting on everybody to get done, I was playing Forza. As soon as you guys were all in and ready, I went to Titanfall. When I was done, I played another couple games of Forza. I was right back where I was because I have the resume on. I was right back where in the middle of a race where I had paused. So,
Yeah.
go ahead, Siren, you were going to say something.
Oh no, I do like the fact that they are playing with lowering the prices for the digital download. Like Rise right now is $40. I'm hoping they implement more games because that would be a huge thing for digital download.
That would be sweet. Now, Stinger, you had a good point about why it might not permanently happen for a long time. What did you say about the retail stores?
Retail will fight tooth and nail. If you notice now, there are a lot of sales on Amazon. There's a lot of sales at GameStop. There's a lot of sales all over the place in places that they're selling, disc-based games that they're not selling the same price digitally. Why? Because retail stores want the option of calling their own pricing and not having digital compete with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember, like you said, GameStop. Like, can you? What was your theory? I mean, your perfect situation. If all of a sudden, if Rise came out $30 right off the bat digitally, and GameStop wouldn't be able to compete with that, like you said, they would be like, no, all right, if you do that, we will not sell your stuff in our store. And
that's right, because remember what just happened. So Titanfall for about an hour or so was going to be available for preload. You could buy it, and then I guess when they released the game, when it went gold or when it was ready, you would download it, but it wouldn't be playable until 12:01 on the 11th. And I'm almost guaranteeing that GameStop called Microsoft and said, "You're going to take money away from us." Because why would you go to the store? Why would you get up and go to the store for a midnight launch?
At 12:01, bam, unlocked. Go ahead and play.
So why would right? And so why would you go to a store? So I'm sure that GameStop probably forefronted this to Microsoft and said, you can't do this because you're taking money away from us and we will retaliate, which I'm sure that they would.
Yeah.
And so they had to quickly pull that. And as long as that retail is looming over, threatening, I don't think you're going to get big sales. You know, everybody talks about Steam, right?
Uh-huh.
But Steam doesn't have competition.
No, they
It
don't.
nobody goes to game stores anymore to buy PC games.
No.
But
Yeah.
but console game, so until until they work that out, I don't think you're going to get much in the way of lower prices on digital, and that sucks
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. I mean, the thing is with the whole disc versus digital thing, I don't know. Like people have to look at just the benefits of it. And you're right. If the whole fiasco with that preloading, they said that was an error. You're right. Mark GameStop probably did call. I mean, how do you make an error? They literally had a whole paragraph
Yeah.
written about that stuff, about preloading it and getting it at 12:01. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, that was an error.
Psych.
How do you do it? That's like, come on, you made it a whole page about it. Like, how is that an error?
yeah. Somebody said something.
Yeah, yeah,
So and the other thing about physical disc is that people want to be able to trade them in. People want to have that, and I don't begrudge them that. And they're always going to be cheaper because of that. So, um, this is something that I hope will continue if Rise is successful. Look, I'm not jumping on Tomb Raider until that comes down in price. Period.
yeah,
Yeah.
Will I still pay $60 for a new game that I think is worth it? Am I going to pay $60 for Titanfall? Yes. Am I
yeah,
going to pay $60 for Tomb Raider Definitive Edition? No. So, if I can get it for $40 digitally, I'm going to do that because I'm not going out to the store to buy it. So that does kind of make people like me who's strictly digital just stuck.
yeah. I do agree. I don't know. They say hopefully eventually it'll play out. I think it will eventually play out good. I mean, I think digital will. Who knows? Watch it take off once the Steam consoles come out. Hey, look, Valve's doing it. Valve does nothing wrong. No offense. Oh my God, it's the Holy Grail. It's Steam machine. For us, at least, hopefully it'll pick itself up, and I think it will. It will.
Yeah.
Well, Siren, we know you have to bolt out. We appreciated having you on today, and I'm hoping that you'll make it a bit more regular. We'd love having your insight, and we love having a female insight on the show. This is
Yes.
great,
It was
especially one who talks the way you do in a game lobby.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So we hope you'll be part of more of the Generation Gamers podcast because definitely you know we definitely want your input and your insight onto gaming, especially as a female.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Siren 717. We will talk to you later.
All right, signing out. Bye.
All right.
So,
So we'll
What
we'll
do
try to keep the boat afloat while she's gone, right?
yeah. So what are we moving on to next?
All right. So I want to talk about something a little bit that kind of it doesn't hit home anymore for me because I'm not a game journalist anymore and I don't have a lot of the relationships that I used to. But so this week, Irrational Games, the makers of BioShock, Ken Levine and his team announced that they are, for all intents and purposes, disbanding the Irrational Games team. Now, Ken Levine and a select group of people are going to form a smaller company that's going to be more directly a part of Take-Two
I think
Games.
it's like a, I think him, including, I think it was like 15 people out of that big company. He was only taking 15.
Out of that big company. So
Yeah.
they laid off
Well, at
a
least-
lot of people, and I want to give the internet credit. There are some people out there who, when they saw that, immediately started posting, "Hey, we're hiring. Hey, we're hiring." Phil Spencer from Microsoft Game Studios. I reached out to him and said, "I hope you guys are getting in contact and reaching out to these developers, these talented people, and he said they
They're
were,
supportive, very supportive.
and the entire industry has. I'm quite sure Sony Studios has done the same thing. I'm quite sure. I'm hoping Nintendo has done that. A lot of the third-party companies were almost immediately um, putting out places where people can go and click. And there is a hashtag if you are on Twitter and you know of some opportunities. It's hashtag Irrational Jobs. We're hoping that very soon a lot of these talented men and women can land on their feet with some other places, and you know, as much as you want to think, well, what happens to Bioshock? I'd like to think more along the lines of what happens to these people who their
Thing is,
livelihood was
it came so
irrational.
sudden. I mean, I know, I don't know. I mean, usually when 99, honestly, this is the first time I've ever heard of a company closing down because they wanted to explore something else. I've heard of developers leaving, maybe small groups, but such a big studio who's very successful getting closed down because they want to do other things. That's where it's like, man, it's just something I didn't think I would ever hear of. Like Ken Levine saying, he goes, I want to move on and do something else, and it's like I didn't think I'd ever hear. I didn't think, it's such a big company like Irrational Games closing down, laying off other people because they want to explore other areas. I've never heard of that, and I'm not trying to put any blame on Ken Levine, but it's just something I've never. It's just weird. I've never in my years in gaming. It's just usually you tell people like, man, did you hear about Eidos? Not Eidos, Acclaim. They closed down. They weren't making no money, and all
Well, and
all these companies that we know that closed down. It's like this is just we want to explore different areas, so we're closing our studio. Like
well,
whoa,
it's funny, you bring up Acclaim. That's what stuck in my mind almost immediately. Um, when when I ran Next Level Gaming, and we were um, getting our feet under us as a multi-platform site when I had come off of doing Dreamcast stuff, which I had started to get to know them a little bit because they were a Dreamcast developer as well. And when we became multi-platform, we really tried to cultivate some new relationships, and we were able to really get good friends at Acclaim. We used to go up to their New York studios like once every 3 months from here in Maryland, and uh, I got to be good friends with them. They had done so much, and one day, a couple of the guys there just said, "Hey, we got to the studio this morning and the doors were closed. They had everything got liquidated. Nobody
like that.
told anybody anything.
Oh,
Nobody had told them until these are just the developers and the staff and the PR guys. They walked up to the building one day and saw a note on the door that said
oh
we are
my
liquidating.
God, are you
And
serious?
one of them was in such tears when I talked to him that I'll never forget that because they worked so hard, and these are the guys that they did games. Not every game was a hit.
Yeah, you're
Their
right.
Legends of Wrestling, I think, was what probably sunk them as a company because they put so much money into that game with licensing and things like that. And I remember the most bizarre interview they got me with Jake the Snake Roberts. I
That
wish I
man is
still had it,
that man is bizarre.
and it was so weird. But they put so much money into their licensed products, and what didn't work out really, unfortunately, sunk them. And because these are the guys that did All Star Baseball, which was a great baseball series.
Yeah.
And so when I heard about Irrational, I was really upset for them. Obviously I don't know anybody at Irrational Games. I've been out of the game of journalism for so long that these guys don't know me from a hole in a wall. But
It's kind of like with Craig, with Ferguson going to Microsoft. He worked at Irrational for a little bit and then he left. I wonder if he kind of knew something back then. I mean, because he helped to push BioShock Infinite out. I mean, that leaves and more. And I tweeted this a couple times. You won't see BioShock in the Vita. You won't. If they
no,
do, if you do, it'll be too late. I mean, they announced that what in 2010 or 2011.
I don't know if you're gonna. Who knows what's gonna happen to Bioshock?
I mean,
So
you're right. Who knows what will happen? But it is sad. I mean, my thoughts and my prayers go out to those the people who were affected and got laid off, and I hope they get back on their horse. And like I said, the gaming community as a whole has been so supportive. And you said there's a
Yeah.
hashtag. Even Microsoft's looking out. It's just kind of a weird feeling to know that your company closed down because the founder wants to
Do something else.
do a different video
Yeah.
game. I mean, I can't blame him for his choice, but like I said, it's just kind of a weird reason. Your company was successful. It's kind of like, I know this is kind of like off topic, but it's like I always kind of like the analogy of the Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, they might not have been that good story-wise, but they always made money. Spider-Man 1 made a lot of money. Spider-Man 2 made more money. Spider-Man 3 made triple more money. 2 years later, they're rebooting it. What are you doing? Why? Why would you? I mean,
Right.
Amazing Spider-Man is a lot better. Give me that. But your movies still made money. They made triple the amount of money. Why would you reboot it? It just, that's where it follows me. Their company was very successful. All their games got amazing reviews. Sold a lot of copies. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the nature of the beast.
They were just putting out DLC for
Yeah,
Infinite.
they
I mean,
like last month they just released that new DLC, and people were still playing the game. I don't know. I know that's just, I know people have different priorities. It's kind of weird. And when I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that company
well,
was definitely not broken.
no.
So
And again, if you guys know of anybody, our listeners out there, that that are hiring, and you can either use the hashtag irrational jobs, or if you want to send us a quick tweet at gen_gamers, and we'll try to pass it on as best we can.
yep.
So, all right, well, since
It's already,
we
can
have
you believe it's been that
talked
long?
forever,
Yeah, I know.
it has.
It's already been an hour.
Man, I tell you, I love doing this with you, man.
Yep.
This is some great stuff. I love getting in and talking games. As
Well,
a
it was good to get Cybern on today. Fortunately, sorry for the listeners.
absolutely.
She had some business to take care of today, but she'll definitely be on with us next time too, whenever we do it.
And not to give any too much away, but we are going to have some other guests come. We've got some indie developers lined up, and a couple of other people that we hope that you guys will like, and we'll keep this going.
Yep.
So let's go over our quick hits for the week, real quick.
Quick
There are
hits. I'm gonna try and get an audio thing. I'm gonna record something on
yes,
Moonmaker, and I'm just gonna go
we need.
quick hits or something funny like that, just so.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be some bumper music for us. It's
Yeah.
the quick hits.
Yeah.
So, so Microsoft has been putting out invites to Xbox One owners for they're going to start previewing the updates coming up, and they're going to start with this one that's coming out on the big March update that's going to update the party chat and stuff like that. And
Here for Titan.
um, yep, and at least to start, I have been accepted into that. So I'm trying to get you and a couple of other of our Generation Gamers members into the beta, and then we'll be able to talk about it, give people a preview of what's going on with the beta, with the with the updates and things like that before they get it, so we can kind of help you guys make
Walk them
sure
through,
what you're heading for.
give them some tips and updates to kind of show them. And I think Major Nelson did say that he was. I think they said, I think a couple days before, they're going to send a link out and show a video, a walkthrough on how to use the party system before the actual update. I think like maybe a couple days before the update. Well, it's got to be this week. I mean, even though we're gonna, hopefully, I know you're getting it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get in it. We'll be able to shed some light. But I know Major Nelson did tweet saying a walkthrough video will come out, so you can watch it, and then right when the update comes out, you're not like, what do I do? You'll be like, all right, let's get this going. So that's kind of cool that they're doing that. And it's hard to believe it's
Yeah.
already a week away. After next week,
And
I can't believe this month's already over with. Jeez,
I know.
it's already March.
And we'll link to that video through our Twitter feed and our YouTube feed once that's
Available.
up. But we'll give you as best we can. I have not been told of any NDAs. There wasn't any kind of there wasn't an NDA when you accepted, so I'm assuming that they're going to let us talk about it, and we'll let you know
3
as
weeks
we
later.
go.
Sorry, you guys. Stinger NLP has got arrested, and he will going to federal prison for breaking the NDA. He will not be on a show with us no more.
Speaking of betas, I'm going to jump to Project Spark. The beta is coming. The one of the community managers from the developer from Dakota has said that they've gotten all the bugs worked out. They're waiting on a certification build before they open it up for beta. And I am also in that beta as I signed up for the Windows 8 beta. We are also going to get a Xbox One key. So as
Wow.
soon as that comes through, I'll start telling our Generation Gamers followers about it. Maybe we'll do a quick vid on it just to give you guys an idea what it looks like. I am very excited for Project Spark. The what that is going to do. Um, I think if you want that revolutionary game, I think this is what this could be with what you can build.
Yeah, I know. I did tweet, the other day on my Twitter. I asked when it actually was coming out, and it looks interesting. I don't think it's honestly. I mean, I'm very excited for it, but honestly, I don't think that game will be my cup of tea. Lot. I'm not saying it'll be bad, but for me, general, I don't think I'll like it as much. But very curious to see maybe some of our followers can, send us a link to maybe some of their OneDrive videos of what they create and stuff like that. Maybe we'll have a Project Spark video of the month or something like that. That'd be kind of cool, like what they created, or you know what I mean. Kind of show our users what they made and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be. Maybe we can come up with some sort of prizes and things like that.
Yep.
But I look forward to what you'll be able to build with it. And so, I could see, as Siren is an RPG person, you said, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Imagine her building her own RPG worlds.
Yep.
That's what this does. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I know. I think she said she looked a little interesting to her. But if that's the beta, I mean, she'll probably play the beta. But if the game comes out anytime near June, no, sir. That's yeah. Elder Scrolls Online is gonna be sucked like dry. That Xbox
it
One is gonna look like a shriveled up dried pepper when she's done with Elder Scrolls Online.
better for $10 a month.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, Pete Hines. If you're listening, I swear I still love you guys. Okay, so staying on the Xbox just a little bit longer, SkyDrive is now OneDrive. There are actually achievements for it now. So if you can get it open in the next couple of days, you'll get an achievement.
Oh,
If you
really?
use a certain amount of space or you upload a certain amount of things to it, you'll get achievements. It's also they're working on a lot more of the integration between all the devices. You can now, at least on the smartphone side, there's a whole camera roll amount of space they give you, and a
Wow.
select number of people. I think you got it, I got it, a couple of my friends got it. If you were one of the first 100,000 people to go and view the SkyDrive, the new OneDrive site, you got a year's free 100 gig.
100 gigs. Yep. That's what
So,
I did with 'cause I got that Lumia 925 and I had logged in from my phone and it was like congratulations. I'm like, oh sweet, I'll take me a free 100 gigabytes.
and it's only, I mean, 100 gigs is $50 a year. After that year's up, we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
So, so there's that. Okay, so Strider and Rayman Legends came out this week.
Which I
I'm
had the pleasure of buying Strider and it is awesome.
I'm up in the air. I just got my Bing Rewards $3 card, and it's either going to be Strider or Rayman Legends. I'm getting Rayman Legends no matter what because I'm a Rayman fan, and the first game I played Rayman on was the Atari Jaguar.
Oh,
So I go back a long way with that game, and you know, unfortunately, it comes at a time, as I'm 40 with a wife and two kids. I don't have disposable income, so I can't get them all. So I'm
yeah.
working on it.
Strider, like I said, maybe that'd be another one of the reviews we'll do. I said I've only played a little bit of it. It's actually kind of hard, and there's a lot to do. For $15, you can't beat it, but maybe one of these days we'll get a review on it. But it's definitely Double Helix did a good job on that. Congratulations to Double Helix.
Yes, and then next week we have Thief and Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, and then Titanfall.
I can't believe Thief comes out so. I mean, I just all I remember is seeing the teaser trailer and people were like, "Holy crap!" and now it's out already. Man,
And check our Twitter feed. We do have a link to the to the launch trailer on our at Gen_Gamers Twitter feed. Switching to Nintendo, so you know the games that people are looking for. Mario Kart 8, May 30th, and it looks really wild.
I've always like tell you what, man. Ever since on the Super Nintendo playing Mario Kart or even Mario Kart 64, I think I had more fun on Mario Kart 64. But
Agreed.
it's good. It's been a while. I don't think we had a Mario Kart, did they? Did they only go to the DS during that generation?
No, we had a Mario Kart.
They did. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I've got it.
I know
My son
GameCube had
my
it,
son plays it.
but Mario Kart. It's
So
definitely gonna be fun with that. So when's that coming again? March what? 8th?
May 30th.
Oh, May 30th. Oh, okay.
You were close. So also Tony Hawk announced on Sirius Radio this week that he is developing another game in cooperation with Activision.
Wow.
Now, that it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater. He did not say it's a skate game, but you have to think that it's Tony Hawk. That is going
Yeah.
to be Tony Hawk Pro Skater returning from the abyss.
And what was the last one? Was it Project 8?
Oh
Or
my god, I can't even remember. It was definitely I mean it's been years and years.
yeah,
And look, Tony Hawk got stale very quick
yeah.
because it's skateboarding. How much can you do? But I think that he had the failed experiment with the board
Escape, oh my
controller.
God. Yeah.
But I think that it's time for Pro Skater to come back. I think if they can get
And honestly, it'd
back
be
to the
cool
glory
if
days.
it'd be cool, like kind of do what he's doing, just a total reboot. Just call it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
cool. That would definitely be
Yeah.
cool.
Maybe get a little Kinect action in there. Maybe get a little Wii U gamepad action in there because it's coming out for the Wii U. It's Activision.
Yeah.
Um, you know, use the PS4 touchpad to do some extra stuff. And then start, get some integration in there and try to get back to what Tony Hawk used to be about. And I think a new generation of gamers who did not play Tony Hawk before
hmm
might get into it. The only concern that I have is that how many people still remember who Tony Hawk is. I mean, he is getting up there.
And I know he's close to 50, or he might be 50.
Yeah. So, and is skateboarding that big a deal anymore? Snowboarding is huge, and the Winter Olympics and stuff like that. But is skateboarding still a thing?
Yeah, I remember, exactly when those games were coming out. I knew a lot of friends that skateboarded. I mean, now I rarely see them now. Even around my neighborhood, I rarely see them skateboarding, even in the summertime. I remember seeing people all the time on skateboards in high school. Now, when I drive past my old high school, yeah, I've been graduated since '06. I don't see a lot of them out there waiting for buses or even on the property where, I remember skateboarders used to, grind against the rails and stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe it is time for it to come back, kind of bring back skate. I mean, I'm not saying skateboarding is dying. It's still popular. It's just I don't know if it's as popular as it used to be. So, but it'd be cool to
Yeah.
see what he does. Watch it be like a first person shooter, like why it be some crazy stuff, like ride a
Tony,
skateboard with like a machine gun or something like that, or watch
Call of Hawk.
like watch it put like to where you can outfit your skateboard with like blades and you can like cut people on their ankles and like something just really outrageously crazy.
Oh my goodness.
That-
Speaking of outrageous, I didn't put this necessarily on the list, but Harmonix announced an alpha for a new game called Chroma.
Chroma, I
I,
saw you tweet that, and I remember you said they have like 1,200 followers, but they don't follow nobody, and they talk in like that third person like Chroma this and that, or like coding and stuff. It's weird, but they said
it's a musical first person shooter.
what?
Yeah.
That's weird. I know they. I
Well,
know.
it's Harmonix.
I thought they were honestly. Well, I remember they said they are going to revolutionize the first person shooter in Arena. I was like, wow, they're actually doing a first person shooter. I didn't know it had music to do with it.
Yep. And so it's right now it's Steam. It's going to be Steam.
Oh,
But hey,
whatever
Harmonix
happened
if
to
they can,
the one game for the Kinect?
Fantasia,
Yeah.
it's still got a summer release.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they canceled it or something.
It was not canceled. No, it
Oh,
was
okay.
not. So,
That's good.
let's see. Ah, if you are jumping to Mortal Kombat, I don't know if you heard this.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yep.
He is just going bonkers with the voice acting. So, Metal Gear Solid
Yep.
being Snake, which is a big deal. He is doing a yet unannounced character voiceover for the new Mortal Kombat. Don't know who yet. I tried to look it up, couldn't find it. It just said he's doing voiceover for Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Thought that was interesting.
Watch him be the guy for the announcer, like fight or finish him. Unless they're going to introduce some whole new character or something like that. 'Cause I
He
know.
has to do that. He has to do that in his Jack Bauer voice, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Finish him.
Yeah. I agree. So that's good to
So,
hear. I like him.
all right, a couple more quick things for you. Xbox 360, Jewish. Xbox One is releasing a media remote for $25 on April 4th.
Yep.
So if you, it will control your One Guide, it'll control Blu-ray, it'll control more or less the media functions of
It
the
does look,
box.
it does look like the media remote they released for the 360 near the end of it. It's the long like smooth black one. This one's just a little small. It's smaller. And like I said, it's just a little media remote. I saw it. Looks decent. Pretty cool looking.
And those of you who are playing Forza Motorsport 5, hopefully you have already run uh, your Road America track. We got that as free DLC. Um, it's a great track too. Also, some of us who bought the game, depending on if you owned another game, got a free car. So because I also have Halo Spartan Assault, Turn 10 gifted me a 1960s Ford Mustang Boss, I think it's a 306, with a complete Halo Spartan Assault skin on it.
I remember you telling me about that. That's
It's
pretty cool.
gorgeous. And I tell you, my one of my coworkers got gifted a Ford Focus, which I also got gifted at the very beginning. But it does a couple of things that, it's not just the fact you get a free car. It's a muscle car that's actually eligible for career mode. And so I beefed it up like I beef up all my cars,
Mm.
tuned it, and it's a beast. I mean, it's a Ford Mustang. It's a 1960s Ford Mustang. That thing is a beast.
Wow.
So,
Pretty cool.
yeah, so it's nice to get some free stuff from that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with the free track. I mean,
And
it's free.
hopefully there's more coming down the line because I have not bought any of the car packs or anything. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So if buying DLC is your thing, that's cool. It's just not mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, well,
Jay was
hour and a half later, man, we've come to the end of another podcast.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was good to get Siren on here. I'm pretty sure she'll be with us again. We'll try and get GT on. I know he had I think he had his girls down here, so he was gonna join us, but he said he had his girls at his house. I know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try and do another video game review for Wednesday. What we're gonna try and do, since we're getting a little used to this now, we're gonna try keep up our podcasts on Sundays. And then we're going to try and do video game reviews if we don't run out on for Wednesdays. And I think I'm going to do Peggle 2, thanks to the recommendation of Sam Hall. Is it Sam Hall that's on a YouTube page?
I think so. His
Sam Heel or Sam Hall? Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. But he suggested Peggle 2, so we'll go ahead and do a Peggle 2 review. I have that, so I'll get a couple gameplay footage on there so people can watch it. Definitely a fun game, so looking forward to that. And I like where this is going. It's our third podcast. I mean, it seems like we've been doing it forever, but I mean, it's only our third podcast, our third week doing it. But I like it. It's going good. We're getting a lot of followers on our Twitter, on our YouTube page, subscribers, and keep coming, you guys. We greatly appreciate the feedback if you have it, and any suggestions. I mean, what do you think there, Stinger?
I agree. We'd like to get the comments section going. If you got something that you want to say, we've already gotten one or two, but we need to keep it going. Listen, if you guys like this podcast, tell your friends, get them to subscribe. We can really bring some new things to the table if we get enough people to subscribe. We can maybe pull some guest hosts and things that can want to get their message out, that want to talk to us about games. But we need you, and we'd love to get you guys subscribing. Tell your friends about us, and help us grow.
Yep, for sure, 100% agree.
get on our Twitter. Our Twitter feed again is at @gen_gamers.
There's also a link to it
Um,
on our YouTube page too.
and just be part of our community, because without people listening to our podcast, Mason and I talking to each other.
Yeah,
So
into infinite space. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
So
So this is it for us. Once again, I'm Mike Mullis, aka Stinger NLG.
Mason, aka Sinar212.
Thank you for joining us on this podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Game on, you guys.